She hit my 2-year-old son with a wire cord. Trigger warning, child abuse. New user here, also on mobile, so sorry if I get format wrong. I just needed a place to vent immediately and I heard that this was the place. When our son was born, DH and I both agreed that no one was allowed to reprimand him beyond timeouts but us. This rule especially applied to MIL. DH has told me stories upon stories of how she abused him and disciplined him through methods of using belts, switches, solid objects, hitting, extension cords, you name it. He even has scars on his body here and there from where she struck him. Though DH told me that, with her older age, he was sure she wouldn't still be using such methods. Him and I both told MIL about our golden rule immediately, and she was perfectly okay with it. We weren't exactly worried about anyone breaking the rule for our son's first 2 years because we had a well-trusted friend that would babysit him. MIL only really came around when we were also able to be around and was always as sweet as could be, so no problems there. But our babysitter has come down with some health conditions, and therefore doesn't have free time on her hands like she used to continue watching our son. DH and I both had to make a 2-hour drive last night, 4 hours total, and had no one to watch him but didn't want to have him out way past his usual bedtime. So, since things had been fine the past 2 years, we thought maybe MIL had changed her old ways, and we offered to let her come over and watch our son. She happily accepted and was over in no time, all smiley and happy to see us, and was nice to our son too. DH and I didn't want to take up any more time and began our drive. We have cameras set up in every room, except bathrooms of course, and about 30 minutes into our drive, I thought I'd check up on the living room camera from my phone. What I saw absolutely horrified me. My little 2-year-old son was on his hands and knees, screaming and crying, as I watched this woman strike his back with a wire cord. Like it was a whip. I went backwards to see what the camera had previously recorded, to see why she was doing what she was doing, and it showed him and her playing on the couch, everything perfectly fine, then him suddenly smacking her in the face. He has gotten a habit of doing this lately, it's become part of how he plays. I made DH turn around immediately and told him I was going to call the police, and he stopped me. He has a lot of love for his mother, but this is our baby being hit like he's not even a human being for God's sake. I didn't even try to argue. I called MIL and told her that I saw everything, and that if she even laid a finger on him within the next 30 minutes that I'd have her arrested. She wasn't even there when we got home. She had left our son there by himself about 10 minutes before we'd arrived. I walked through the door and see him laying on his side like a helpless animal, wailing in pain still. I haven't slept at all. DH has been talking to his mother on the phone, swearing at her and calling her crazy. I looked at my son's back, it was red, hot, and had welts and bruises all over. I cried like a baby and held him in my arms. He's surprisingly sleeping on the couch now, but he has moments where when he moves he starts to cry again, and I'm still crying as well. I don't know what to do. DH won't let me contact the police, and I blame myself for all of this. I should have never let that witch even breathe the same air as him. I don't know where to go from here. Edit. I am currently taking my son to the ER. I don't think DH is aware that this means it'll be reported to the police as well, and I told him I wouldn't say anything so he is letting me go. He is worried about him but he's very torn and I know that, so I'm doing the stressful part for him. For all 3 of us. Thank you to all who told me that doctors are mandatory reporters, and I will update you all on my son/MIL situation when I can. Update. Hi all. First off, I want to thank everyone who took the time to message me that day and even continued to message me in the following days wondering how my little one was doing. The amount of love, support, and advice we got was so incredibly heartwarming, it brought me to tears. There's no way I couldn't update the community. I'll address what I think is the most important thing first. My little one is doing much better now. The doctor recommended toddler pain relief medication and home remedies. His welts have turned to bruises so there is progress there. He hasn't cried much, for the most part he's been back to his regular happy self and that is very comforting for me as a mom. I was so worried of how he'd start acting around people, but he bounced back and is doing fine. The hospital did contact police as everyone said they would, and the detective wasted no time with looking at the recording and filing the necessary charges against MIL, and said that she was easily looking at 20 years of prison time. After her release there will be an immediate restraining order put out against her in regards to my son, and my DH and I plan on having no contact with her either. As for DH, we had a long talk after I got back from the hospital and he broke down to me and our son, holding him and crying and telling me he was sorry that he didn't let me call the police in the car, and that it was just an in-the-moment response because of it being his mom and all, amongst other things. He was happy his mom was getting arrested and felt like she was finally getting what she deserved so long ago. I appreciate those that were considerate of his feelings and what he had gone through. He's a very sensible man. Of course I was going to contact authorities regardless, but I knew he just needed time to come around. He loves our son to death, and I know seeing what happened broke his heart. He was just too in shock with the audacity of Mil's actions to think clearly. Overall, everything is going just fine now. We are a happy household again, and now without Mil in the picture. Once again, words cannot even describe how grateful I am for the support everyone has given my family. I wish I could link a photo of my son's happy little face now, just to cheer everyone up. Thank you all for the time and love you put towards my family. We wish this wonderful community the best of life and a happy new year.